Hello, everybody. Sasha here, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to me with some shiny red lip gloss on. Mwah. I've been away for a while. Thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for still being here. What would I do without you? I have been pretty much off YouTube, well, doing my own YouTubes for 7 months. And yeah, I've been on a healing retreat, not on an actual retreat the whole time, just retreated, healing, world changing, moved, relocated to a whole different county, and really kind of had a lot of life changing things go on. Not least of all losing my dear father, which was a real shock in many ways and really sad, and something that I do want to talk about, but I'm not quite ready to talk about that because we don't want soppy, emotional, crying Sasha right at the start, do we? No, we don't. So, yeah, unfortunately, my father did die of cancer. He was diagnosed in July last year with kidney cancer. Uh, Unfortunately, the doctors didn't see him for a couple of months, at which point it had spread to his lungs, and 3 doses of chemotherapy, and the worst happened. Turbo cancer, yes, you could say. So yeah, it's been tough, and it's a whole something that I've been unpacking that I will talk about at a later date. But today, I just want to say hi, first of all, and I am going to be picking up on a lot of the subjects that I was talking about. But I have been on a really healing journey. Losing my father was a deeply, deeply spiritual thing. I went to see my own clairvoyant on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day 2025, a couple of months after my dad gone. And that is actually also the day after my dad's birthday, which is the day after my mum's birthday, which is the day after my husband's mum's birthday, which is just all kinds of crazy weird. um, but yeah, there's been an awful lot of death that has touched my life over the last few years. And this has been a huge, huge spiritual awakening for me. The biggest catalyst for that was losing my brother-in-law in highly suspicious circumstances on the 30th of October 2020. That was 6 months after lockdown. And funnily enough, the last time I ever had a proper chat with him in his room with Mike was on the day of actual lockdown. But that was the catalyst for a great awakening within me, and loads of things happening within my life. A lot of death. We've all been experiencing an awful lot of death, a lot of loss, a lot of lies being uncovered, a lot of things coming to the surface. And that has been a rocky journey, and not least of all for me and for all of us. It's been fucking mental since lockdown here, and so many things have all started to pop off and be talked about, and so much injustice, and not least of all for the bloody COVID, the utter COVID that we've had to live through. And it's just been an immensely difficult time for an awful lot of us. And you could say not for the rich and elite who experience the biggest wealth transfer. So while all of us were struggling, and affecting our businesses and our families and our livelihoods and everything. They were off partying, weren't they, and not giving a flying toss while they rubbed their little grubby fingers together. So yes, we are not happy with the 1% elite. I think we know that. Anyway, we could talk about the conspiracy theories all day long, couldn't we? And here's another conspiracy: the Essex Boys fiasco. There's been an awful lot going on with that as well, and I am going to be talking about it. I have actually jumped back on today, and I've done a podcast with Liam Galvin, who I didn't know before. He was kind enough to invite me to be on his podcast, so we had a little 40-minute chat today, and that's going to be coming out soon. I did have a little chat with Sonia Poulton, who was asking me some questions about the Essex Boys saga. And it always just opens up so many questions. And I would like to thank everybody that has been commenting and saying nice things. Yes, there's always some horrible troll-like, all kinds of fake people and just troublesome trolls. Proper troublesome trolls. Talking of that, do you remember the old doorman? Yes. So he's been up to his old tricks. Unfortunately, I can't talk too much about what's gone on, but unfortunately, nothing with me, thank God. But he has gone for a harassment case against James Waldron. I know it's not a secret, so I'm going to talk about that, but not today. I'm not going to just launch into all of that. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it slow. And what I would really like to know is all of your questions. Leave them in the comments and let's do a Essex Q&A. And I'll see as many of the questions that I can answer as possible. Obviously, this level of crime that's involved does make it quite difficult for people to talk properly and talk easily. And I've experienced some all hell and high water for the last couple of years since Sky Murders documentary team got in touch with me. And I thought about it for the first time in years. And they took me to Raquel's, a derelict Raquel's, and I walked around that and did a load of filming. Then I did an interview with them, and pretty much everything was cut out. Oh, well, never mind. I can tell you everything that I said that day, and you can tell me why you think it might have been cut out. How about that? Does that sound like a good idea? There's so much deception going on, and I'm really not here for any fighting, and I don't think anybody should be fighting on all of this thing. I think it should be the understanding of what's gone on, the truth, how people have been scapegoated, how the wrong people were put inside, how the whole Libets thing and the demonising of ecstasy and whose favour that worked in, and all of these things are massive and need to be unpacked. And I'm happy to do so. But we've got to take it slow, and we've got to make sure we don't upset anybody and get into any trouble. We don't want anything taken down or defamation, because we don't do defamation. So, we can unpack these things with the right support and with the right help. When you see people that are supposed to be good guys really acting not like that and not good, shall we say, and then the bad guys just being allowed to get badder, it's just all a right nightmare, and it's very difficult. for anybody that does know truth to be able to come forward and say their truth, because I've experienced not just people within the case and stuff going on, but a load of like, what would you know? You're just a barmaid and all this kind of nasty stuff. And well, I can tell you that the people that work in the clubs know everything that's going on. All of us that are having to keep our wits about us in some way or form. And everybody that is in the club game knows that we do know an awful lot about what's going on and what was going on at Raquel's. But also, we've got lots of friends. Like, there's loads of people in this Essex Boys case that all the younger people haven't been spoken to. It's not just the females. There's loads of younger. I was 21 and I was one of the older ones, and this was one of the reasons why Tony Tucker and Rolf didn't go to Raquel's, because they won't be seen dead in there. They were at Hollywood's and Epping Forest Country Club and good clubs, clubs that were much better and not in Basildon Market Square. So there's loads of people that they might have something interesting to say, they might not have, but a lot of these people are not people that are trying to cover up stuff. There's all the people involved. There's a lot of people involved, but the people involved, there's so much guilt and so much, money making and the whole cash cow thing that it's been made into. Of course, the films are just films. There's so much license for films to just, sensationalize everything and glamorize everything. So, but, there are actually really fundamental, important things that have gone on in this case, and I really do think we should be talking about them. And openly and honestly, and anybody that's trying to attack people and bully them and say nasty things, and that's been done to all kinds of people involved in this case, all the way through. And when it's still going on, it's just really, really, we don't need it. Messing the hair out now. Anyway, so I thought I'd just pop in to say hi. I am back. I'm getting back in the game. I've waited till I'm not an emotional wreck, as I was. Well, I had cried an awful lot in the last 6, 7 months. Well, I've cried a lot in my life, to be honest. I'm very good at crying. Yeah, and I've been told a few times that, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm crying. That's normal thing that humans do. That's why we can cry, so that we can let out our pain and stuff. But yeah, that can often be used against you. We're gonna do a podcast about that at some point. Anyway, that's enough from me. I think the boys are coming back, so I'm going to stop it here, and I am back. Never fear, Sasha's here.